Hi friends, welcome back to Sew Honeybee. My name is Bee for those of you who may be new to my channel. Today what I wanted to do was do a video response as to a comment or explaining a comment that I had left on SiahSwag. She was doing a tutorial for a Celine handbag made by the pattern made by Bagstock Designs, and she had asked for suggestions, in which I had given her one in the comments. And then there was another response to my comment, and I'm reading it here from my iPad. I can't figure out what you are telling us to do. Could you explain your technique a bit more, as I'd love to improve this section of my sewing. Thanks. I really thought for a while about the comment that I wanted to make in just a few sentences in a reply to better explain what I was talking about. And I really couldn't do it in just a few sentences. So I thought I would make a video reply to that comment. Now, the sample that I wanted to use to make this demonstration is the Mabel bag from Swoon. It is a free pattern, and it is this bag here. And as you can see, I've already made the bag, and the gussets and everything went in very nicely. And now I am making this bag on my domestic Singer heavy duty sewing machine. So that's the machine that I will be using in this demonstration. So let me adjust the camera and then we can get started. I am using a number 70 thread, and the needles that I'm using are these ones here. It is a size 16 needle. This is the lining that I am using for this bag, and as you can see, I have drawn some lines here to help explain what I'm talking about. The original seam allowance for this pattern is 1/2 inch, and as you can see when sewing the vinyl, it came out perfectly. It was just really, really simple to get that gusset in there and not have any problems. Now, what I was talking about cutting through a 1/4 inch off is right here. I went from nothing, because our seam allowance is 1/2 inch. We want to start at that. But we want to make the whole seam allowance for the whole distance to be 1/2 inch. So what we have to do is grade in from nothing all the way down, cutting off a 1/4 inch on our gusset. So let's go ahead and let me do that. Let me get my scissors here. So I'm going to start at nothing and then go all the way down, cutting off a 1/4 inch off of my gusset. And I have gone through and I've already marked this whole thing. So let me continue to cut all of this off. And then again, I'm going to grade all the way up to nothing again. I am not going to cut off anything here because this needs to stay at 1/2 inch. Okay. Now, with the bag itself, let me just use one of these as our demonstration. I've done the same thing. I have graded from 1/2 inch and then gradually graded in from here a 1/4 inch all the way around and then back up to nothing. So what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to cut off the 1/4 inch here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that here now. Because the reason why I'm doing this is so that our seam allowance is the same all the way down. So that, because once you grade in on a seam allowance, it then starts changing the distance of each piece of fabric that you have. Okay. So now, I have cut off that 1/4 inch, and you can see now, let me turn this way, that now from the start all the way down we have 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now on our bag we also have 1/2 inch seam allowance. So now I'm going to match up my centers. I'm going to go ahead and clip that. And when doing this, we are still going to have to make clips in our gusset, but it's going to go in perfectly. So here is our gusset. Let me lay this down. If you will see now, if I put this like this, you can see now that our gusset is in there exactly where it should be. So let me go ahead and clip it. Now, I don't want to clip it all the way to the seam line, but I just want to clip it just before I get to seam line. And I think that's where, too, when I was thinking about how I would explain this, I get mixed up because for this is what I consider clipping, but yet for clipping in bag making, you can think of this as clipping. So it's it was a little bit difficult to try and explain. So now here, let me make sure that I'm still on the thing here. Okay, so now you see how there's still just the slightest here and the slightest amount here. So let's move it and just move it just a little bit over, because we can ease that in, because we don't want that ripple there, but we could just ease it in just the slightest amount. Now let me put this flat down now and see now where it is not rippling anymore. Whereas before, it would have rippled quite a bit. Okay, so now as you can see, there is no more ripples or anything in this gusset. Okay, so now let's go ahead and start sewing that. And I'm going to go ahead and follow my stitching line on this here. I'll get my petal. Okay. Sorry for bumping the camera. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead. Let me turn down my stitch. I hope I'm not blocking anything on the camera. Ooh, I almost got a ripple there. You got to still really be careful. Okay. And as we continue to go around here, Now let me go ahead and move this back. Turn this around. Let me move this over. Move in my iron. And as you can see here, there's no ripples whatsoever. There's one right there, just the tiniest ripple. But you can see that for the most part, it worked out really, really well. So let me go ahead. Let me press this. And now I am pressing it towards the gusset. And I'm not really pulling on it a lot, but I'm just pulling on it just a little bit, just so that when I look at this, it's pressed towards the gusset. Okay, so now let's take a look at our seam. You see how there's no ripples all the way down, and right there, where is it? I saw one. There it is. Just the slightest little ripple right there. Let me see what it looks like on this side. So you can see there, I did get one. But it is so slight. But it is so slight that you can't even see it. But see the difference? Now that's what I was talking about. I hope you were able to understand that. And now I'll go ahead and I'll do the other side. And that way you can see both of them done. Okay, so here's our bag, and as you can see, let me get this thread off. As you can see, there are no puckers in it, no wrinkles or anything. And same thing with the other side. So now it's all ready to put inside the purse and then to finish it up. I hope this video response was really helpful for anyone who may need it. I've really been enjoying sewing different kinds of bags and posting them on my Instagram at SiahHoneybee, and learning different techniques that I can use from tailoring and into fusing them into making bags and purses. As you can see, this one here, I am doing the Teluge crossbody bag, and so I just completed this one, but I'm needing to figure out a way that I can sew this on my domestic machine, because this is an extremely good machine, and good price too. I have actually about 10 machines now, sewing machines, and out of all of them, only this one is able to sew the vinyl and sew things that are thicker. So anyways, I've really enjoyed being a part of this community, and I hope to be able to share more videos. Okay, until next time, bye.